Happen. Here we go. This is not a ride sharing video. I appreciate you folks tuning in. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Today, we're going to talk about what has literally been all over the news, particularly the cable news outlets, the news wires. As you see, the video is titled Hunter Biden Indicted. Now, we're going to be tying Hunter Biden in to what you're often hearing from what is taking place with Trump on the right. Many are suggesting we have a two-tier justice system. The way it's being described is there is a system for you and I and a different system for the Bidens. In other words, the Biden family is receiving privilege from the system, a two-tier justice system. The system would not treat you or I with anywhere near the leniency of the Biden family. So we have to go to what just took place yesterday. That is indeed Hunter Biden being indicted. Hunter Biden has now been charged with a crime. That is the acquisition of a firearm while lying on the application to obtain that firearm. In other words, Hunter Biden, knowing that he had a substance abuse problem, stated on his gun license or gun application for a gun license, or however it's done in the state he's in, he stated that he did not have a drug problem. Flat out lie. It is indeed a federal crime, and they have since prosecuted him for it. But we're going to be talking about it from the standpoint of a two-tier justice system. Now, I see in the comments, Craig Lynch says not much of a crime. Real quick in the details, Hunter Biden obtained this firearm illegally by lying on the application. According to the story, he only had the firearm for 11 days before a loved one took it from him, fearing he might use it to take his own life. So he illegally obtained the firearm, had it in his possession for 11 days, and somebody took it from him and discarded it, even stating it was never loaded. I don't know if I buy all of that, but let's just be honest in regards to what took place. He purchased a firearm, lying on the application. No crime was committed with the firearm at all. The crime was in how he acquired it. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because we're talking about a two-tier justice system. We're talking about the Biden family receiving privileges that you and I would not receive. Well, according to many legal analysts, 99% of the folks that commit the crime that Hunter Biden did will not be charged for it. And for those who are charged, they get, for the most part, a warning. Hunter Biden is facing double-digit years in prison for this. Now, we know he's not going to be locked up for this shit. We know his father has a right to pardon him and likely will do so. However, if the claim is that the Hunter Bidens are receiving privilege from the system that you or I would not, why would he get charged with this to begin with? This doesn't make sense in regards to the notion that he has privilege and he's being treated better than the system. He's being charged with a crime that just about any other sibling or offspring of anyone in the U.S. Senate or even Congress probably would not even be charged with that. Would probably not even receive any type of charge. Like I stated, it's not like he got this gun illegally and then went out and shot a bunch of folks, or he was even brandishing it in public. He didn't commit any additional crime with the firearm. The crime was how he obtained it. Not to say that he's innocent. If you break the law, you should be charged. But in regards to the statement that there is a two-tier justice system, do we believe that anyone that committed the same crime as Hunter Biden would actually be facing charges as well? Because if there's a two-tier justice system and the Bidens are getting the benefit of it, how does he get charged with this? We're going to go straight to the box real quick in the comments, he wants to use pardon power like Trump would. I think any of us would pardon our child or anybody that's close to us if they had a substance abuse problem and did what Hunter Biden did. I think any of us, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle politically you're on, if that's your kid, they're strung out on drugs, they lie on a gun application, and the gun is taken from them within 11 days. No one is hurt, no crime is committed with the gun, and the government is talking about they're facing football numbers in prison. I don't think there's anyone watching that can honestly state they would let their child go up against that system if they had the ability to pardon. I don't even see in this case where the punishment could even remotely fit the crime. I mean, 6 months at worst. 6 months in prison at the worst. No crime was committed with the firearm. 20, 25 years? You could abuse children. Hell, you could murder someone and serve less time than that. I don't get it. But remember, two-tier justice system. He's somehow benefiting from the system because of his dad. I don't get it. Going straight to the box, we'll keep it moving. Tim Robbins, not the actor, not escaping from Shawshank. Good afternoon, Tim Robbins. We're talking about a two-tier justice system. What do you think of the Hunter Biden charges? Robbins, are you there? Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, the caller dropped. I don't know what happened there. I did same thing for 2 years probation, says Pamela Wild. And from what I hear, just about anyone would receive probation for what they're talking about. Hunter Biden is going to get not going to get, because we know he's not going to serve any time, but he's facing a significant period in federal prison. I don't get it. Jamie Pizzini, good afternoon. Hopefully this comes through. I don't know what happened with my last caller. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Okay. So what do you think? Two-tier justice system? You see where the Bidens are benefiting from the justice system?
Well, I mean, I think that's a difficult question to answer in that framing. I feel like I agree there is a two-tier justice system, but in this particular case, I feel like this is the opposite of that. I think the only reason we're even talking about this guy is because he's the president's son. And I find it extremely ironic that the same people that want to throw him in jail are the same people that want to make sure Trump is innocent before we throw him in jail. Like we're not giving him the same benefit of the doubt as a voting population because he's on the other side of the aisle. And, you know, like, it's just, I've really struggled with this. If you were a Democrat and you think we should leave Hunter Biden alone, but you think we should lock Trump up, I think you're a hypocrite. If you're a Republican and you think we should lock up Hunter Biden and not lock up Trump, I think you're a hypocrite. I think neither one of these people has been proven in a court of law to be guilty, whether or not they did it or they didn't do it yet. But in general, I'm really struggling with the way, as a society, we're trying to deal with the law right now.
But let me interject and say this. Let me interject and say this, because I agree with you. If you believe Trump should be free and Hunter Biden should be locked up, or vice versa. But if you notice, there are no liberals suggesting that Hunter Biden shouldn't be locked up if he commit a crime. I haven't heard of a single liberal suggesting that it's a witch hunt in regards to what they're doing to Biden.
You're probably right. I'm just saying that to be fair.
Okay.
As an individual, I think it doesn't matter who you are, and maybe I'm going to go. I'm probably going to go a little bit more extreme here. I think if you are in what I would call the privileged, the class of people, the upper class of our people, the ones that are running our country, and telling the rest of us lower class people or working class people what to do, then I think you should be held to a higher standard. I'm going to go on the other side of that.
Okay.
I think you need to be more responsible than me if your name's Hunter Biden, because your dad is the frickin' president. But just to be fair, yeah, I think this is nuts. Anybody who's worth their salt is saying if this guy broke a law.
Okay, I don't know if
you're extreme, try to put in jail for 3 touchdowns worth of years because he had a gun for 11 days when he shouldn't. And if I'm a Second Amendment supporter, I don't even think the man committed a crime. I feel like that's a difficult position to be in, to claim to be that you think the Second Amendment is above all else and you don't think the government should be messing with my right to have a gun, and then at the same time you want to throw this guy in jail for getting a gun. I think that's a tough argument to make. Now, if you're a law, you strictly by the law person, okay, I got it. I think the guy should probably pay some type of penalty. But 24 years?
It's something, it's something. It's more than a year for every day he had the gun. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just really extreme to me. Now, do I think that guy should have a gun? Hell no. I'm on the side of I think anybody who's addicted to drugs in general should not have a firearm, because I think that not only do they have a propensity to harm themselves with it, they have a propensity to harm other people with it. Right. And if we're really talking about keeping our American citizens safe and really keying in on our right to life, I think a lot of people forget about that. They say it when it's convenient. But if I have a right to life, then you being a wacko drug addict with a gun is infringing upon my right to life. And I think that we can see statistically that these things happen. Oftentimes, these people take their own life. And if you're not the kind of person that thinks that matters, then the 30% of the time you're robbing people, or you know what I mean, or taking someone else's life. So I do see it as a danger. I do think he should pay some type of price, but personally, I think the guy should have to go to classes somewhere, or do some type of public service. Or I'm on that level of kind of person. So you thinks that we should take away your freedom for making a mistake.
Yeah. So you and I tend to agree that the time he's facing is astronomically ridiculous. So with us agreeing to that, is it safe to say that President Biden, at least from his son's standpoint, is not benefiting from any two-tier justice system?
Well, certainly not yet. I think if he gets, I'll give you an example. If he gets convicted of a ridiculous amount of years, even you or I don't agree with, and the president pardons him, I think that's a two-tier justice system.
Well, yeah.
And I think that maybe I'm reaching a little bit here, but I guarantee you or I wouldn't be pardoned for that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So, I don't think, but in regards to your statement, in regards to your statement, you or I wouldn't get pardoned for it. I don't think you or I would be facing football numbers in prison for it either.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah. There ain't no way that's going to happen. But I do think that if I were the president, I agree with you, I would pardon him, even though I think it's ridiculous. But that's what they do. At the end of their terms, they pardon the most ridiculous amount of numbers with the craziest crimes you or I would never get pardoned for. They pardon all their buddies, and that's what these guys do every single time. And it doesn't matter whether you got an R or a D next to your name, you're doing it. And I've seen that for my whole life. I'm almost 50 years old. There's never been an instance where I didn't see that happen at the end of someone's presidency. Maybe you could pull someone up and prove me wrong, but I'm pretty sure when I look at those lists, they're hundreds of people long. Not like 5 or 10, or we always talk about the 1 or 2 that's extreme. Like, well, that guy's a racist or this guy's a whatever, but they pardon hundreds of people, and it's usually financial crimes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it's the first time a president's son has ever been tried, or better yet, charged with a crime. But Jamie, I do got to move it on. Appreciate you coming in here.
Hey, you take it easy, man. And with any luck, maybe if Trump wins the next term, maybe he'll get to do that for Ivanka when she gets locked up, or Jared Kushner. We can play this game all day long if we just want to bash on each other. But I don't know. Can we stick to doing things that make sense? All right, we probably can't. I know that's an extreme thing.
But I agree with you. Appreciate you coming in. Totally agree. Now, and that's one of the things that I've said in the beginning of the program is that if you believe we have a two-tier justice system, how the hell do you explain this? That he's being charged and facing this much time. That doesn't lead you to believe that he's being treated better than everybody else. In my humble opinion, it looks like he's getting treated worse. The legal analysts all over television and cable news networks are saying 99% of the folks who do what Hunter Biden did do not get charged at all. So where is the two-tier benefits here? Other than his father has the ultimate ability to pardon him, but why is he being charged with this in the first place if he is subject to the benefits of a two-tier justice system? Now, if you believe that if you break the law, you should be charged, that is fine. Yours truly, I do believe that. But if you're suggesting that the Bidens are somehow benefiting from the justice system, these charges do not make sense. No one that benefits from a two-tier justice system faces double-digit years in prison for this type of a crime. That does not resonate with a two-tier justice system whatsoever. Looking in the box, I see somebody said the GOP took the bait. And by the way, I'll go right to the box, but Trump had an interview recently with Megyn Kelly, formerly of Fox News. Everybody knows who Megyn Kelly is. And he actually told Megyn Kelly in the interview, had the Democrats not went after him, he don't think the Republicans would be going after Hunter Biden, which is essentially Trump admitting that what Hunter Biden is going through is indeed revenge. President Trump stated that had the Democrats not went after him, he don't think they would be going after Hunter Biden. So he is actually admitting that what the Republican Party is doing to Hunter Biden is literally revenge for what he's going through. Just want to point that out. Going back to the box, we'll keep it moving with CPL Fox. I think I just clicked on that. Or what did I click on? By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get your boy up and likes. Let your thumbs not be lazy. The program is forever will remain MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guests, and nevertheless, liberals are always welcome on the program. Trump not too long ago was a lifelong dedicated Democrat, then switched parties recently, says Red Hammer on YouTube. True, but I don't know if it was recently. I think back in the 80s when Trump was saying he identified as a Democrat. I don't know if it was recent. We just gave billions to Iran and POWs to them for only a couple of hours. Just like the Brittany Griner trade, I don't think President Biden is ever going to make a trade that his detractors are happy with. But I do. Your point is well taken. This will be all over when Trump is in prison. Trump's not going. I don't know. Strictly business. How many of you folks believe that Trump will ultimately be incarcerated? I'm still not in that camp yet. I'm not here to suggest he's going to be found not guilty of 91 charges. I don't believe that. But in terms of locking him up, I don't know if I believe that's going to happen. Let's keep it moving. Chris, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. I'm having some problems with the box. Chris, good afternoon.
Well, I finally made it to you. I got past my 1,000-follower probation.
Good to have you on then. So what do you think? Two-tier justice system? Is the Bidens benefiting from some kind of two-tier justice system?
Yes and no. Yes, because obviously who his father is. You know what I mean? Away from his father there's no way of getting around that. Everyone knows who his father is. Mm-hmm. How this case plays out is the ripple effect. Every criminal, past and present, is watching this, is how he gets off. Because if he gets off, every criminal that's done that can rely back to this case to get their case to get it redone.
Well, if the legal scholars all over cable news is correct, every criminal that has done it to date do not face the same type of crime or charges that Hunter Biden does. In fact, they're saying that 99% of folks who do what Hunter Biden did and do not use the gun to commit a crime or something like that are not charged at all. It's generally when they find you with a weapon on you after you robbed a liquor store or after you brandished it in public to defend your ego or something, and then they find out you obtained it fraudulently, was when you're charged as an add-on crime. But they're saying that if you lie on a gun application and get a gun in this manner, and you don't do anything of criminal nature with the gun, 99% of the time you won't be charged at all. So the people in the past are looking at Biden and going, damn, they didn't do that to me.
In the whole 25 years, that's too much. That's just too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But between, like, if he does get charged, you know what I mean, maybe 6 months to a year and probation.
So how do you think the 6 months?
Because who his father is.
Right, 6 months to a year of probation. How do you think the Second Amendment, the shall not be infringed upon crowd, would look at this, knowing that if I lie on my gun application, I could get 6 to a year's time in federal prison, even if I don't do anything wrong with the gun? You realize how many gun owners out there probably fit this narrative?
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, hey, it's the ripple effect of this case. What's going to go on after this case with the whole gun control thing of people lying on applications and everything?
Well, from the liberal side of the aisle, we want folks like Hunter Biden to be charged. I would submit to you it's the Second Amendment folks on the right that do not want what happened to Hunter Biden to be happening to gun owners. They just don't like Hunter Biden. But really the folks on the right, the last thing they want people doing is going after what we thought was law-abiding gun owners, scrutinizing their application, and throwing football numbers of prison time at them. This would be horrible for the Second Amendment community.
Yeah, because this also shows, too, is how easy it was for Biden or for Hunter to get the gun and lie and successfully get the gun.
Right.
So how was he, being who he is, that easy for him to get that and lie and not be detected?
Right. And you got to assume that regular citizens like you and I, when they fill out gun applications and they state they don't have a drug problem, I mean, how many gun shops are people really checking this out? He pretty much exposed that a lot of Americans are able to get guns when they shouldn't get them.
The loophole is the drug thing. And because, hey, you go buy a gun, you ain't taking a drug test with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can take a bottle of piss with you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So
the drug question, it's like, why is even the drug question even in the thing? You know what I mean? I'd rather see a mental health check piece of paper with you than a drug test.
Yeah, and that's the point I'm making, is that I'm really shocked, other than the dislike of Hunter Biden, that many on the right, the Second Amendment crowd, are happy with what the government is doing to him, because they always say if it can happen to him, it can happen to you. I don't think anybody on the Second Amendment supporting side of the aisle want what Hunter Biden is going through to be the law of the land for all of us citizens.
It's because they're not speaking up, because most of the Second Amendment people are Republican and Hunter is Democrat. So they're like, they want to speak up, but if they do speak up, it'll look bad upon them.
Right.
Speaking up for Hunter.
But what if Biden goes on television and says, you know, now that this wide open loophole that my son exploited has shown how easy it is to get a gun unlawfully, I'm going to pass this law or this act or whatever the case may be to make obtaining firearms scrutinized more heavily. I mean, because folks are saying, go get his son. Well, now we're going to use this law to go get everybody that's doing what my son did.
And Hunter's only one person, and this is only one charge, but it's the ripple effect of the gun control after this case.
Right.
That's going to affect a lot of people.
So in other words,
the outcome of this case.
So in other words, you're saying out of hatred for Hunter Biden, many on the right are so eager to go after Hunter Biden that they're leaving themselves exposed for legislation they may not favor in the future.
Exactly. Because who else has done the same thing?
Right.
That hasn't got caught.
Right. Well, like the legal folks are saying, 99% of the people that do this do not get charged. So The first thing Biden should do is say, yeah, I'm going to let my son pay the price for committing the crime, and I'm going to pass an act that makes sure anybody else that does it is now enforced. I mean, because it would really hurt the Second Amendment community.
If I was Joe Biden and my son does get 6 months to a year in jail with probation, right? If he is serious about running for the next presidency, he has to let his son do that time. Because if he pardons him, he may lose
votes that don't agree with pardoning him because they feel that he did the crime. There's proof that he did the crime, and you're still getting him off just because that's your son. Yeah. But if you let him do the time, that means you're standing up for the rights of what the justice system came upon the outcome of the case.
Yeah. Normally, I would agree with you. However, because of how tribal our voters are in this country, I don't think that that's going to apply in this case, because just like on the Trump side of the aisle, folks are suggesting they're law-abiding citizens, but they look at Biden as a monster. So it doesn't matter how many felonies Trump get charged with. We're not going to vote for Biden. And the same thing applies here. Even if Biden pardons his son and allows his son to avoid the music, they're not going to be so mad at Biden they're going to vote for Trump. Folks who support Biden view Trump as a monster.
Yeah, Joe's in a catch-22.
I don't think so.
He looks bad in a way when he does. So does he just do what's best for him and his family, or does he do what's best for what looks good in the eye of the voter?
Here's what Biden should do. Biden should take a page out of Trump's book. When it comes to the trial of Hunter Biden or whatever he's about to go through, delay. And if you can get it till after the November 2024 election, then it doesn't matter. Then you can pardon him. I would just continue to delay it as long as you can. And then at that point, let's say you delay it until next year sometime, which probably could be done. You're so close upon the election that the moment the election is over with, whether Biden wins or loses, then pardon him. Just delay it until people cast a ballot. He can go on television and tell people all day, every day that I'm going to let my son face the music. I'm not going to interfere. But after the election is over, we'll just go back and say, you know what? Come to think of it, I found information 99% of the people don't get charged with this. They're railroading my son.
Yeah, it's just a sticky situation because obviously Joe's a father, you know. Right. It's just I would hate to be in Joe's position. You know what I mean? It's like sooner or later, after the election or before the election, you're gonna have to make a hard decision.
Yeah. I don't know if it's that hard. What would you do in that decision?
Depends on if I want to run again. Hey, because I don't know if this case can get pushed to pass the election because there's so much pressure on it. If it goes past the election and you get elected, hey, pardon them, whatever. But if you don't go to the election, and if you
well, let me rephrase it.
Again,
okay, let me rephrase it then. As opposed to trying to delay it, let's say you cannot delay it. Keep in mind, Martha Stewart did a year in federal prison. They're going to send him to the lightest, easiest federal correctional facility there is. If you got to sit down for 6 months or so watching TV and playing video games all day, then go do that for your dad. I mean, all of the drama he's caused his father, to go spend 6 months in federal prison until the election is over so I can pardon you, that ain't actually that bad. I mean, it's going to be the easiest time imaginable.
I think his son needs the time to think out his actions.
And that too.
Hey, everything Hunter has done has put a lot of shade on his dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like Hunter needs to take one for the team.
Yeah. So let me ask you this though. I got to move it on, but I want to ask you this before I move on, because you talked about if Biden pardons his son, it's going to look bad on his record. If Trump is reelected, do you think he would use his pardon powers to interfere with the cases against him at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he don't care. He don't care what the others think. And Joe's the opposite.
That says a lot, don't it?
Hey, Trump was okay. Your party, okay. I mean, Trump giving out pardons like Oprah Winfrey. You know what I mean? It's like he don't care. He don't care what the other person thinks of him. You know?
Yeah. And I don't disagree with that. I think everybody knows that Trump's goal is to try to get reelected to stop all the federal cases against him. I think anybody saying otherwise is probably not being honest with themselves. But I got to move it on, Chris. Appreciate that. All right, good talk. All right, looking in the comments, you took the bait. They want the focus on this and not the money, the IRS, which is tied to daddy. Well, here's the problem with suggesting that it's a sleight of hand, which I actually do believe there is far more smoke and fire with Hunter Biden on his Ukrainian and Chinese dealings, where there may be some real genuine crimes. This, what he's being charged with right now, is bullshit. It's not going to go anywhere, because even many folks on the right will admit, once you take away the desire to get revenge on him for what happened to Trump, is way over sentencing. As I just stated with the last caller, most folks on the right who support the Second Amendment thinks this is a horrible, horrible thing to be doing to a gun-owning citizen, is to go through their gun application, find what they may have been dishonest about, and then throw them in prison for 20 years. I think most gun owners think this is a horrible precedent, even if they didn't lie on their application at all. 20 years? So it's to some degree a miscarriage of justice. But hey, break the law. This is the law. Enforce the law on Hunter Biden. There's not a lot of liberals that have a lot of love for Hunter Biden. I'm just giving it to you the way I would give it to you if it was one of Trump's kids. It's an overreach, and it could have implications with other gun owners. But you guys, let me know what you think in the comments. But in regards to taking the bait, I just want to say this. The special counsel is David Weiss. He is a Trump-appointed official. Trump appointed the guy that's going after Hunter Biden. And I want to point this out because folks are suggesting that all of the liberal judges and prosecutors that are going after Trump means they cannot be fair because they are Democrats, appointed by Obama, appointed by Biden, or appointed by Clinton. That means they can't be fair. They're a Democrat. Their wife is donating money to the Democratic Party. The guy going after Hunter Biden was appointed by Trump specifically. So I want to point it out because, remember, the Bidens are supposed to be benefiting from a two-tier justice system. Not only is a special counsel appointed by Biden or appointed by Trump, Biden had the ability to take him off the case and chose to leave him on. That says a lot about President Biden. He could have took this man off of the case and made sure a special counsel of a liberal background was there. He chose not to do it. And the guy has now indicted his son. So I just want to point it out to you. Going back to the box, we'll keep it moving with Tony Hawkins. I think we tried this. I don't know if it's going to come up. By the way, tap the screen. Get your boy up to 30,000. We got about 650 of you guys in here. You could be anywhere you want to be. It's always an honor to have you here. Tony Hawkins, two-tier justice system. What say you?
So, of course, I don't know what he lied about on his application.
Let me tell you. Let me explain it to you. I'll explain it to you. He basically suggested that he did not have any issues with substance abuse, while he knew he did. You can't have a firearm if you got a drug abuse problem legally. He lied about it. They found out that when he filled out the application, he had already received treatment for substance abuse and was still going through it. So he basically got caught in a lie.
All right. So, from our previous talks, I've kind of explained my situation. I went to prison for carrying a concealed weapon. I got pulled over. I didn't have a license. They searched the car. I had a gun in the car. Blah 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 blah. I went to prison for a year. This, that, and the other. So.
Was that your only, when you got pulled over and you had a concealed weapon in the car, did you have any criminal record before that?
No, that was I had some traffic tickets, nothing crazy, nothing, I had a Trans Am, revving pipes, squealing tires, stupid shit. I was 21. No, I had no felonies, no nothing, no prior record like that. My first offense, my tags were registered to me, cop got behind me, ran the tags, didn't have a license. pulled me over, arrested me in Ohio for driving without a license, searched the car, seized the car because I had a gun in the car. Went to prison for it, did my time, everything, blah, blah, blah. I now have my gun rights restored. I still have my felony on my record. I'm not going to pay to expunge my record because it's been years. I don't give a shit about having a felony on my record.
Did you have a public defender? Because folks in the audience is even saying.
I did. I did. If I would have had a paid attorney, I could have got a misdemeanor improper use of a firearm.
Yeah, they threw the book at you.
It goes a long way with money. You know, money goes a long way when you're in the court system. That's what it boils down to. Now, Ohio is big on a drug court. So now they have conviction in lieu of. You know, if you're a small-time offender, and this is small-time, they're going to tell you he's facing 20 years because of per day or whatever. I heard you earlier, it says so much time per day or whatever.
Yeah, he only had the gun. He only had the gun in his possession for 11 days. He's facing more years in prison than days he had the gun.
Right. So of course they're gonna promote, like, he can get 20 years. That's up to. He'll never get 20. He'll never get it. He'll get a conviction in lieu of. They'll say, hey, do some treatment and we'll drop it. Literally, it's literally, that's what it's called, conviction in lieu of. So you plead out, you do your little treatment. As long as you successfully complete your treatment, you won't have a record. He'll never see jail. He'll never see it. He'll do a little treatment and be off.
So, in regards to this charge, though, do you think he would even be facing this at all if his dad wasn't president?
You know, I'm not sure about that. I want to say, you know, I want to say that they're throwing him under the bus just because they're going to be like, hey, we went ahead and charged the Democrat because we're charging Trump.
Yeah.
You know, I want to say they're trying to do we did this because this is going on, so we're going to give you one. But it's not the same. Well,
think of it this way. You admitted that in your case, if you had money to hire decent counsel, you probably would have got charged with a misdemeanor. If Hunter Biden's dad was not the president, let's say his dad was one of the senators or Congress people that had money, but there was no bullseye on his dad, you don't think that he would have?
No, I don't think it would have ever seen the light of day. Nobody would have ever known about it.
Yeah.
Nobody would have ever known about it.
Yeah.
But I think it's just some bullshit in the media. We're gonna charge him because, you know, y'all think it's unfair what Trump's doing. I don't even care. I still think they're all part of the same fucking big family, and we're not in it. I don't care. Neither one of them will see jail, Trump or Biden. None of them will see jail. None of them will see anything. It's all a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, you and I agree on that. I got one question I want to ask you. I'm going to have to move it on, but this is in pertaining to you specifically. Somebody in the audience, I think, wants to know. If you got a felony, how were you able to get another gun or a gun license or whatever? How were you able to get your gun rights back?
So in Ohio, it's called. Give me one second. I have to give you the specific code. It's right here. They have it in every state, but it's a different
procedure.
Yeah. So.
You don't have to give me the code, but what process did you have to go through to get your license? You had to go to court? Did you have to write a letter?
Yeah. So you definitely got to go back through the court system. So it's revised code. So in Ohio, it's revised code 2923.14. Each state has a different revised code. States have different revised codes for whatever the case may be. Now, this is relief from weapons under disability in Ohio. You can get relief as long as you're not violent. There's 7 different stipulations that will stop you. Of course, one is multiple felonies of the same felony, blah, 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 blah. So each state has their own revised code. And in all 50 states, you can get your gun rights restored as long as you're not a violent career criminal and whatnot.
So what if your felony you got one of the lamest felonies there is, but what if you had a felony such as you had carjacked somebody? You think you would have been able to get your gun rights back?
Yes.
What?
I don't want to go through my whole history, but I have a total of 5 felonies.
Oh shit! Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. So I was an addict. I broke my back at 20. Got an insurance settlement. That's when I got my Trans Am, my gun, blah 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 blah. Back in the OxyContin days with Big Pharma, blah blah blah. I did some dumbass shit. So, I did my time. I've given back to the community over the years. I've showed I've turned my life around. But in the stipulations of the law, as long as you're not a violent career criminal, you don't have 2 or more of the same felonies. I have 5 felonies. They're none of the same. But, my first one was in 2017. My second one was in 2013. I wasn't a career criminal. I fucked up. I was an addict. So you committed your, what was the year you committed your last felony? 2015.
Okay. All right. Well, that is almost, 8 years ago. I just wanted to see how quick you could get your life. And you can vote too, correct?
Yes. Yeah. And Trump did that. Trump fixed that, because before Trump, I wasn't able to even look at a ballot. I couldn't.
Well, that's something he did for black people, because we got all the felonies. I got to move it on, Tony, though. I do appreciate it. Absolutely.
Have a good one.
Absolute. All right, looking in the... Wow. Now, somebody in the comments, Army Vet says, no, he did not. I don't know, but Army Vet is saying, no, Trump did not allow people with felonies to have their voting rights restored. And I see, I'd like to know, for somebody else, maybe if you could, if you're in front of a computer, look that up. I'm going to plead ignorance. I do not know. So that's the first that I heard of it. Looking in the comments, we're asking that point is that, is the Biden family the beneficiary of a 2-tier justice system? Many folks on the right, after Trump got charged, are stating that there's a 2-tier justice system, one for all of us and one for the Bidens. In other words, the system is far more lenient, kinder, and beneficial to the Bidens than it is for the rest of us. So that's what we're asking. Do you see the Biden family as being treated with leniency by the justice system? And if so, how the hell does his son get charged with such what apparently is a fairly mild crime, and he's facing, double-digit years in prison? Real quick for you folks that are in here, tap the screen, get your boy up to 35,000 likes. We're talking about Hunter Biden lying on his gun application, trying to get a firearm, lying and saying he does not have a drug abuse problem. They were able to later prove he did. Not only did he have a drug abuse problem, he had been receiving treatment for it already. So he clearly knew he was lying on the gun application. He was able to obtain a firearm by lying on that application. The report suggests he only had the firearm in his possession for 11 days before a loved one took it from him, fearing he would use it on himself. 11 days is the only amount of time he had this firearm that he obtained illegally. Yet he is facing more than 20 years in prison. 2-tier justice system. The Bidens are benefiting from a 2-tier justice system. Can someone please explain that? That's what we're talking about. Looking in the comments, the Trump family is getting leniency as I see it. Wow, says Melanie Conley. Well, before Trump was charged in Georgia, it does note attention to say the man had 70 charges at that point before being charged in Georgia, and he had never been put in a pair of handcuffs or taken a mugshot. I don't know any of us that could receive that many criminal charges and not have a mugshot and be placed in handcuffs at all. So there is that. At the very least, Trump has benefited from that. All of us would be handcuffed and mugshot and fingerprinted if the feds charge you with a case. And all the notion that where everybody knows how he looks, That don't mean shit. How many celebrities? Hell, Elvis Presley has a mugshot out there. So that doesn't mean anything that you're well known or people recognize your face. In regards to the mugshot and the handcuffs, it does appear as if Trump benefited from that standpoint. Looking in the box, we'll keep it moving. Speaking of which, Army vet, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Now, you're suggesting that Trump didn't do anything for felons wanting to have their voting rights restored.
Hey, how's it going, Tim? It's been a minute since I've been on here.
It's good to have you back.
I can't hear you.
I said it's good to have you back. Can you hear me now?
Hold on. Let me fix my headphones here.
Okay, yeah, you got to, because I can hear you loud and clear.
I can't tell if it's me or you.
It's got to be you. I can hear you loud and clear. Okay, looking in the comments while he's doing that. Trump.
Okay, so you can hear me okay?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah, for some reason you're breaking up, but give me the question. Since you can hear me okay, then I can clearly give an answer then.
Okay, well, you're saying that Trump did not restore voting rights for felons. Is that true?
Horrible reception, but let me just say this.
Okay, we'll try it again. I mean, apparently you're having some audio issues there, so I don't know what's going on. Looking in the comments, either way, no matter who wins the Democratic nomination, it's just gonna keep getting worse, says my three kids. Well, the only way things will not get worse is for Trump to win and Democrats to be okay with it. Because if Trump doesn't win, everybody cheated. There's no way Trump can lose without a large segment of MAGA stating that there had to be some cheating. So if Trump doesn't win, it doesn't matter who the Democrats nominate. They're going to say that it was not held properly, because a lot of folks think that simply allowing mail-in votes alone is cheating. So I don't know how you can actually get past the hump unless Trump wins. Any other result is going to be questioned, suspicion, and not accepted very well. So I don't know how you do it without that. Looking in the comments, good question. Where is Hunter's mugshot? Jerry Williams. Exactly, but he's being charged federally. How would it look if Hunter Biden, facing federal charges, took a mugshot and there's not one of Trump? Remember, a two-tier justice system that the Bidens are supposed to be benefiting from. There is no federal mugshot of Trump. But if you get one of Biden, then it looks like Trump is the beneficiary of a two-tier justice system. Going back to the box, we'll keep it moving with Kareem the Dream. Okay, I love the name. So Kareem. Okay. All right, apparently we got him in the middle of making a mixtape. All right, we'll keep it moving. I can only do what we can only do here. We'll try with, and there's no way I'm going to be able to pronounce this, but my last caller was in the middle of making a mixtape. It's all good. Shout out to you. Hope he goes platinum. I can't pronounce the name, but good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Lance. Yeah, I was trying to just ask that last caller that you had. He said he got his gun rights back and everything, and I've been trying to get my gun rights back for the last 30 years, and I had a felony 30-something years ago, and I still can't get my rights back.
What state are you in?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
What was the felony? I mean personal, but what did you do? Did you kill a bunch of kids?
It's selling cocaine, they say.
Okay. Is that the only felony, or is there other ones?
That's the only felony. That's the only crime I ever committed. Really, I didn't commit that. I just said, I was telling them that, where they could get the drugs from, and they arrested me for it also. Well,
let me say this. The last caller is in the comments saying for you to message him. He goes by the name Tony Hawkins $08. He's saying message him. Tony Hawkins $08 because 30 years is ridiculous. I mean, that you're talking about the early 90s. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, because I did everything they asked me to do, and I received the paperwork a couple of months ago saying that they reviewed everything and carefully reviewed everything, and still that I can't receive none of my rights back. Period.
How long have you been? How long have you been out?
I only did like 4 months behind that.
How long have you been off paper?
About maybe 12 years.
Wow, yeah, that's real bad. Yeah, I don't know, and that's what I was wondering, because some states are more friendlier to people who have served time than others. That's why I was kind of wondering when he said that, but I've never been inside, so I can't speak on it. I'm ignorant on it, but I would love to know that, because it could come up in future conversations if you can get your voting rights back in all 50 states, or is it just some? Because 30 years, that's insane.
I still vote. I always was able to vote, but no other rights. I mean, nobody ever said anything to me about voting, but no other rights. I have no other rights. Yeah. But I've been voting ever since,
So, I mean, shit, have your votes been counting? I mean, they could have been throwing your shit out.
I'm not 100% on that. We can't tell. Like, all I can do is just cash in my ballot, but I don't know if my vote's been counted or not.
Yeah, I see Frank Nitty in the comments that said you black in the South, and that comes with its own set of problems. So you can't get your Second Amendment rights back either, then, can you?
No, none of that. No.
Yeah, you. No. I mean, unfortunately, you're gonna probably have to end up talking to a lawyer or some shit. I don't know, because if you do it on your own, you need somebody that knows some loopholes. But yeah, 30 years ago, it's insane to still be trying to,
Yeah, I think it happened in 1991 or something like that. So, yeah.
Wow. Man, I'm sorry to hear that, man. But that's how I thought it was everywhere until the last caller said he got his back. I mean, because
so when he said that, then I'm like, oh, okay. So I might could talk to him, and see what maybe I could do. Like, I talked to everybody in the states. So I talked to everybody in Georgia, and nobody gave me any information. So like you say, I talked to attorneys and everything, and they said you could do all that yourself. But once I tried it, they denied it.
Do they specify why they denied it?
No, they don't give you no reason why. They just say they give you 2 more years. You could try back in 2 more years. So I guess I have to wait 2 more years for I can retry again. They don't give you no information on why they deny you. And that's what so I've been writing everybody, just to get some information on that. I think they should give you some information on why they deny you.
Right. Especially when you've been off paper.
Like the guy said.
You've been off paper and clean for 12 years?
12 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a little longer than 12 years, yeah.
I'm trying not to yell out racism, but yeah, some don't fit with that. Something just does not match up with that. I mean, there's no excuse, for continuing to punish a citizen that long after they've paid their debt to society. That should be, over and done with at that point.
Oh yeah, that's what I say too. But that's the reason I said I was listening to you. I listened to you a lot, and I heard this caller saying that he got his rights back. And here in Georgia, it's just I hear people saying that they got their rights back, but people will say that, and I don't know how true it is 100%. But when I know I tried it, and they denied me of all my rights. I mean,
that just could be just yet another way of gerrymandering. I mean, it's pretty obvious for who most felons are going to get out of jail and vote for, particularly if they happen to be black. So if you want to, get rid of a certain type of demographic, I mean, I'm trying not to say racism, but to me, it screams it all over the damn place. But I gotta move it on, man. That's a depressing ass story. Tony Hawkins $08. Certainly, you're probably gonna end up needing a lawyer. It seems like there should be a way around it. Certainly, at the very least, to give a decent explanation for why you're still being denied. When they don't give you an explanation, that's when I'm starting to yell, something is not right about this. You're just denying the guy because you don't want who he's gonna vote for.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But all right, man. That's all I was calling you about. You guys have a nice day, man. I'm out here driving right now on the road, so
All right.
I just decided. All right, y'all guys have a nice day.
You too, man. Appreciate the call. And in the comments, I see Hot Sauce says stop pandering to the racists. I don't quite understand how that's pandering. I'm certainly going to speculate in a state like Georgia that there may be some racism at play to that. I don't see any legitimate excuse to continue denying voting rights to somebody who committed a crime in the early 90s, have been out of jail over a decade, off paper as well. So we're not even talking about probation, or just completely off paper for over a decade. There's no legitimate reason for why that doesn't help society out at all, to continue interfering with somebody's right to vote that long after that. Other than the fact I think I know who he may be voting for, his ballot is not in my best interest, therefore I'm going to continue to postpone him obtaining his voting rights back. That's my personal take on it. And you can look at certain types of people and gauge what the statistical probability of who they're going to vote for. I think that's pretty easy to do. You may be wrong here or there, but it's pretty easy to kind of guesstimate on certain groups of people who they're going to vote for. But there's no legitimate reason for that man to still be being denied 12 years after if he haven't committed a crime. If what he is saying is true, I'm assuming he's selling it. Now, if he's lying about all kinds of shit and he's been out there beating up his wife and things like that, different conversation. But if what he is saying is true, the only reason why he would still be getting denied without them even giving an explanation is something sinister. It's something wrong with that, period. Something wrong with it. Looking in the comments, he was trying to get his gun license, whatever the case may be. Even if it's trying to obtain your gun license. If you're off paper for 12 years, at what point do you consider the debt to society paid? At what point? At what point? Looking in the comments, already at the box, we'll keep it moving. We'll try with Army Vet once again. I don't know if we got the audio correct. Two-tier justice system. Army Vet, talk to me.
Yes, there's a two-tier justice system. It's a three-tier justice system. So you have a justice system for the rich, first and foremost. Then you have a justice system based on race. That's been statistically proven. But as far as Trump and Biden goes, listen, Trump is getting all kind of passes on shit that the ordinary person wouldn't get a pass on. As far as the mugshot for the federal charges, most people that have federal charges don't get a mugshot. It's not required under federal law that you get a mugshot. So I don't care about that, But when we talk about the two-tier justice system that Republicans kept crying about, Biden's son had a deal on the table.
Yeah.
They were good on the deal until Republicans started complaining about it, and then all of a sudden they backtracked. Now the deal's no good. Now they want to indict him. So, but they're not crying about two-tier the other way. It's only when they think it's benefiting Democrats, but they don't want to talk about the same two-tier system they're crying about that benefits them. So, Republicans are full of bullshit, as always, and whatever they cry about is actually what they're doing or what they're benefiting from.
Well,
prove me wrong. Anybody, prove me wrong on that.
Well, one of the things, I can't disagree with just the notion of what Hunter Biden is facing shows he is not benefiting from any two-tier system at all. The charges and the way they're going after him based on what he did and talking about potentially facing 20 years is absurd. I don't think even you or I would be facing that.
No, but here, let me ask you something. It's a real simple question. So let's just say you had a famous relative that played football or something, and you go to a club and you want to get in the club, but they're not letting you in because you look broke. And then all of a sudden you say, hey, listen, man, there go Michael Jordan. That's my uncle. And they say, no shit. Okay, you can come in. Right?
Okay.
Who doesn't benefit off of a family member or family friend that has access?
Right.
It doesn't mean that they're in on it with you. Somebody else is just benefiting off of that access. Just like Ivanka, just like Jared, just like Don Jr., they all benefit off of the damn Trump name.
Yeah.
But nobody's crying about that. But all of a sudden, Hunter, he benefiting off his daddy's name, and then all of a sudden his daddy got to be in on it.
Well, but they're not. But hold on a second. It goes above and beyond just benefiting. They're saying the guy has committed some crimes. Like, even when it comes to how he obtained...
What guy?
Hunter Biden.
Hunter?
Yeah.
They say it. Now listen, this investigation of Hunter started under Trump. So this investigation of Hunter's been going on for damn near 6 years. Under 2 different administrations, they got Republicans looking into it. And now all of a sudden, Joe Biden got something to do with it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's smoke and mirrors, because what they want to do is they want to be able to have a comparison, right? They don't want to go into the election where people are sitting up there looking at Trump saying, well, 91 charges and he's been impeached twice. They want to be able to say, well, hell, look at the impeachment inquiry on Biden. Look at the crooked stuff that Joe Biden's been doing. How you going to talk about Trump if Joe Biden is doing the same thing? They want to be able to have that equivalency, because without that, then they can't justify voting for Trump.
Well, they're going to...
It's just a bunch of smoke and mirror bullshit.
Well, they're going to justify voting for Trump under 2 different reasons. One, they're going to say Biden is horrible for the country. And 2, they're going to say the charges on Trump are all fraudulent to begin with. So those are the reasons they're going to give to justify voting for Trump.
Listen, that's the 30% that's going to vote for Trump no matter what, right? I don't care about them. I care about the independents or the middle Republicans, the moderate Republicans, the ones that's willing to not vote for Trump. Those are the ones they're trying to confuse. He's got his base. His base going to vote for him no matter what. But he cannot win the presidency with just his base.
That is true.
So you have to get that middle ground, and they're trying to muddy the waters on the middle ground.
But let me ask you this, though. Let me ask it to you this way. If you are a traditional conservative, let's say a Mitt Romney type or a Mike Pence type right now, or even a Chris Christie, apparently, traditional conservative that believes in traditional conservative values, protecting the sanctity of life, you're pro-military, self-reliant, small government, all of that shit. And Trump is facing 91 charges. Do you get angry with what Trump has done and vote for Biden, who goes against all your principles?
Listen, here's the thing right here, right? And I'll stand 10 toes down on this right here, right? If you got someone that says, you know what, I'm a Republican, but I'm willing to still vote for Trump because I want these other things to pass. To me, you're just the same as Trump. You're just the same as any other MAGA Republican, because I look at country over party. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's not what's happening. But that's not what's happening. They're looking at Trump and...
I know that. That's the problem with the country right now. Listen, Trump is one individual. He couldn't do anything if those that are elected, if they don't allow him to do it, right? Liz Cheney, she sit up here and vote, 94% for Trump as a Republican? But the minute she says, you know what, that's enough of his bullshit, what they do to her?
You got rid of her.
They kicked her out, right? And so you got all these other Republican politicians that say, hey, I'm standing firm with my conservative values. No, you're not. What you're doing is you're trying to hang on to your job. You say your job is more and your power and your access is more important than what's happening to the country. So everybody is grifting, making money, and everybody wants to hold on to their job. So they're allowing Trump to just do whatever the hell he wants to do. That's not putting the country before your party.
Well, in regards to putting the country before party, let me ask it to you this way, see what you would do. Let's say Biden was facing 91 charges. Biden had the same type of history and divisive rhetoric coming from him as Trump. Biden was the bad guy, and Trump had no charges at all. He had the role of Biden. But Trump stood for Republican principles, and Biden stood for liberal principles. If you are a liberal, where's your vote going to go?
My vote is going to go for everything under the president. I'm not going to vote president. I'm not going to give Biden or Trump my vote. What I'm going to do is I'm going to vote for the senators, the congressmen, and my local. I'm going to vote for them. I'm not going to vote for president. Because if Biden's doing some stuff he's not supposed to, I ain't messing with him. I don't agree with the Republican platform and their belief system, so I'm not going to vote for them. But I will vote everything under the ticket, and that's what Republicans would do. Listen, I'm going to tell you this, and this is the last thing I'm going to say. I guarantee you, if Trump is the nominee, no matter who's on the Democratic side, and he lose again, at that point, that's when they will dump Trump.
Shit, there's nothing at that point. You don't have to dump Trump at that point. At that point, he's toast anyway.
But true, I mean, that's true. But what I'm saying is Trumpism will die at that point. Because right now everybody can grift off of it. Every time he gets an indictment, everybody's sending out those emails like a bad pastor in a church passing around a plate 5 times a service, right? That's all they do. Every time Trump say something, everybody sends out the emails and they're making money off of it.
I don't know if I
can't win with him.
I don't know if I agree with you. Here's why. If Trump loses in 2024, but says the election was stolen and they threw a bunch of fraudulent, made-up charges at me, I don't think Trumpism would go away if they don't believe he lost fair and square.
Listen, his base is going to be his base. What's going to change is how the politicians deal with it. The ones that are still in office is going to be how they deal with it, because then they're going to be out of power, right? They're not going to have the House. They're not going to have the Senate. They're going to look at all the losses from dealing with Trumpism, and they're going to say, you know, enough is enough. And that's what it's going to take. They have to continue to lose time after time after time before they get it. If they win with it, they'll keep it up. That's just the end of it.
I hear what you're saying, but after seeing January 6th, 91 federal charges and all this stuff, I don't know if I agree with you. They're holding on to Trump.
But that was the first time, right? That was the first time.
How many times does it have to happen?
Because he hasn't lost more than once himself. You understand what I'm saying? The red wave didn't happen in 2022, right? He lost the Senate or the Senate in 2018, I think it was.
Well, wait a minute. Right. He lost the Senate in 2018. He obviously lost the election in 2020. He lost Congress in 2018, if I'm correct.
Yeah, he lost Congress in 2018, right?
He lost the Senate in 2022.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, once he loses again, right? He hasn't lost nothing but once in 2020.
Yeah.
MAGA has lost multiple times. I'm saying once Trump loses again and they lose the House and the Senate and the presidency, that's when those politicians are going to say enough is enough. We cannot continue this or we'll never get power again.
I understand what you're saying, and it makes sense.
Skeptical.
Yes, because I've seen how
revisit this.
I've seen how the politicians, perhaps, but I've seen how the politicians behaved on January 6th and how they changed their tune within a day or two. So I don't know. I do not know if I agree with you.
Okay, so here's the thing on January 6th. 15 years, 17 years, 18 years, 22 years, okay? Think about that. We're
Yeah.
not going to have another January 6th. I don't care how much they want to cry about civil war. No, they see those jails time. They see it. And those that's sitting there that's still trying to act tough behind those bars, they're hoping Trump gets in there and it's going to pardon them. Once Trump lose and they got to sit in there for all that time, they'll be making phone calls. They'll be making phone calls and they'll be on the news crying about how they were misled and all this stuff. But they're going to sit in there all that time and he's not going to save them.
Wow. That's a long time. All right, Army vet, you know what I got to do. But yeah, if Trump doesn't save them, they're spending a long time in prison.
A long time for nothing.
Yeah. All right. And by the way, in addition to spending a long time in prison, as my last caller said, for nothing, Ashley Babbitt didn't even come home. She never came home from the protest. So some of them, what they say, you know, some gave a little gave a lot, you know, so wow. Looking in the comments, what about Trump's daughter and son-in-law with the $2 billion? Why won't Republicans talk about that? Not only why won't Republicans talk about it, why aren't the liberals speaking in regards to that? If they are going to go after Hunter Biden for using his dad's name to get deals and assets that he didn't rightfully deserve, it is a legitimate question to go after Ivanka and Jared Kushner. Maybe there's nothing there, I get that, but there's certainly a legitimate reason to go after them. If you're going to go at, I mean, because as a few of the callers have suggested, if your dad is president, hell, if your dad is even a town mayor, chances are something good in your life is going to happen because your father has that position of prominence, even if it's just a good job. Maybe you got a job at the park district or a job with the bus company because your dad is the mayor. Your dad's the president, all kinds of shit is going to be available to you. That's not something that should surprise anyone. We can talk about they're getting special privileges that you or I do not have access to. It's 100% accurate. But if you got that position, all of a sudden your kids will start getting all types of shit they didn't deserve to. Everybody out there would do that. There's no reason to run for the position if it doesn't come with some kind of perks and benefits. We can talk about all of this term limits and Congress should have to get the same insurance as the rest of us and they shouldn't get paid all of this money. Who the hell would run for Congress? If you knocked all of their perks down and started treating them like LPNs and CNAs or school teachers, who the hell would want that position? You seen Gabby Gifford, somebody walked up and popped her in the head with a 9mm. Why the hell would you want that position? People trying to take your life and insult the hell out of you constantly, going after your family, and you want me to do this for $21 an hour? Fuck that. So Congress is never going to fall victim to all of these limitations that folks on the right and left want them to have to adhere to. Nobody would take the job. No different than those who support law enforcement suggesting that if you defund the police, you're going to start losing cops. Who the hell wants to put themselves out there like that if you're going to take all the perks away? So you can get over all of that, but I get the point. People's children are going to benefit when their dad is president, Congress, senators, governors, mayors. That's what happens. It's not unique to President Biden. We still got Kennedys running for office because of the damn name. So that's what happens. I mean, that's plain and simple. That's what happened. It's not something unique to the Biden family. Looking in the comments, Hanson, we don't want the people who run for those reasons. Is going to run. Or if you try to fix the system so that there are no corrupt leaders running for the office, then you're going to have people who slowly try to make it corrupt again. There is no way to put people in power without them trying to abuse their power or become corrupt. And I'm talking about in any facet of life, not just Washington, not just politics. You got corrupt pastors out there that abuse their power because they know the people think they got some kind of connection to God. We know the police use their power, whether it's to, take bribes or to get a prostitute to perform acts on them. They all do it. Anybody in power is going to have a higher statistical probability of becoming corrupt. As the phrase says, power corrupts people. But the goal is to get an entire congressional body where nobody is trying to be on the take. Good luck with that. That's not going to happen. Most of these folks, particularly the most savvy among us, the ones who have the best leadership qualities, are making a killing in the private sector. So you want them to give all of that up and go make $35,000 a year in Congress with no longevity guarantees or anything? You're not gonna you want Honey Boo Boo to be your congressional woman? That's the kind of people that's gonna show up when you do what you're talking about doing to Congress. Just drain all the perks and benefits out of it, but then expect the best and brightest to still show up. Good luck with that. That's the whole argument folks present against socialism, is that if you try to control what people can earn and put caps on them, you're not going to get quality, skilled people. But you think it's going to work in Congress. Okay, looking in the box. And somebody said it should be a lottery. It ain't a lottery if I don't get paid good money at the end of it. We'll keep it moving, though. Dave Slayton, good afternoon. Talk about a two-tier justice system. And the term limit thing, I keep saying you're not going to get there. Dave.
Yes, sir.
Two-tier justice system where the Bidens are benefiting in ways that no one else is. Do you see that happening?
I still kind of see it. And the reason I say that is because the plea deal was for tax violations and the gun charge. The gun charge being the minimum charge of them all.
Now,
if you look back at...
You do realize the special counsel that's going after Hunter Biden was appointed by Trump. Why would a Trump-appointed special counsel be giving Biden all of these benefits?
So each state sends up a person that they want to present for a district attorney, right?
Okay.
So two Democrats sent this special counsel guy up. Trump approved it. So he didn't have luck with picking his whole cabinet. I mean, he picked a lot of bad apples in his cabinet. I can't say it's just because he picked them, you know.
But isn't that what Trump is suggesting, that folks who are adjudicating his cases cannot be fair if they were appointed by Obama or Biden or they're liberal? He is basically saying if you're a liberal and you overseeing my case, you cannot handle it fairly.
No, that shouldn't be the case at all. But I do still feel that the justice system is corrupted. I still do believe that it's possible that the Biden administration is kind of running this justice system right now because of this gun charge is so minimal that it's going to be pretty much thrown out of court. It's going to be probation. There's not going to be nothing on this.
But if it was,
has changed the narrative.
But if the Biden family was running the court system, the gun charge wouldn't have came to fruition at all.
So every time something comes up in Congress and a whistleblower testifies, Trump gets another indictment. then Trump's numbers rise. Right?
Okay.
Well, they're starting to see that Trump keeps going up. Every time they indict him on something else, they add another charge. Every time something shows up in Congress. This time they said, let's not send it up to Trump. Let's act like our justice system is fair. Let's give Hunter Biden this bullshit charge on a gun charge that we know is going to get thrown out of court, and just say he's facing 22 years. I mean.
So you believe that the special counsel was in on it to benefit the Bidens?
The special counsel used to work for Joe Biden's son. Used to work with Joe Biden's son.
But he was appointed by Trump.
He was appointed special counsel. He used to work with Joe Biden.
But he was appointed by Trump.
at the request of Democrats who set that person up.
So Trump,
Appointed.
so Trump made an appointment at the request of Democrats.
The Democrats sent it up. So in every state, people send up people, hey, I think this person should be a district attorney. As a president, you can approve that or you can disapprove that.
But
He approved that. It doesn't mean that's Trump's guy. It just means he said, okay, yeah, his track record looks pretty good. Why not have him a district attorney?
So in other words, Trump dropped the ball.
Trump dropped the ball a lot of times.
So is he the right man to put back out on the court?
He has the better part of America at his thoughts, I think. I feel.
He had a lot of supporters in 2016, and you're admitting he dropped the ball then.
Well, I don't know, because he did get more votes than he got in 2016 and 2020.
Yeah, yeah.
And for a president, that's crazy to get more votes than what you got the year.
Oh my God. Shut up. All right, for some reason they took my damn TikTok down once again, so I don't know what the hell happened. But it is what it is.